Knowing each other personally and socially for the past 10 years, Kim and John have joined forces, bringing years of experience and training, providing a platform for growth and personal development, along with a little humor. John is the heart, Kim is the mind, and together they are HeartMind-ify. Well, hello everyone. I'm John Izzy, and with me is Kim Cordy. Hey Kim, how are you doing?
I am doing quite well. I want to say fantastic, but then people are going to get sick of hearing me always say fantastic. It's a stunning day. Oddly enough, we're getting rain here. We never rain this time of year in Northern California, but oh well.
Yeah, it's been unseasonably cold here. We have been typically at this time of the year, already in the high 70s and going into 80s, and we have been in the 40s and 50s. It's crazy, 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 and a lot of rain. So it's been kind of nuts.
Well, you guys live on the East Coast. You're used to summer rain. We're not. Even spring rain, we're really not too
Yeah,
used to,
that's true.
but we need it. Well, I'm excited about today.
Yeah, so am I. I have been thinking about this all week and thinking about what could I possibly say about meditation and specifically mindful meditation, a way to be present with your thoughts, with your feelings, with your actions. This type of meditation is specifically about you. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today.
Fantastic. The power or the impact of being mindful, it's very important. In fact, there's tests that you can take. I mean, this is not just some new age thing. This is doctors research and study this because of the power of being mindful. And I think it's important what you're talking about today for everybody.
I totally agree. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. So, the first thing I want to talk about today is the purpose of meditation. You know, all of us at some point in life deal with worry and stress and a constant swing of emotions, right? We all have habits we want to change, but seem completely unable to do so. It's almost as if we are constantly being pushed and pulled by forces beyond our control, almost as if we are just going along for the ride. And if you ask people for advice on this type of an issue, most will say, it's just a part of life. Just learn to live with it and move on. But for me, the purpose of meditation, it stops the constant pushing and pulling that we have become so accustomed to, even if it's only for 10 or 30 minutes a day, but it stops. And, meditation also gives you a platform to observe. The root of any problem or amount of suffering does not come from what we experience in life, but rather from how we react to our experiences. Meditation allows us to begin to understand our full potential for happiness and creativity while we learn how to control our mind and stop the problems of suffering in its tracks. Our lack of control over our mind is what causes us to fail to appreciate the joy in every moment, constantly being distracted by extraneous influences. Do you agree, Kim?
I do. And when I was just writing down how we react to our experiences, because a lot of people just go through life, they have an experience, that's how I am, not really reflecting. And that's a very important point, is noticing and taking taking account of an event or something that's happened in our life, or even just how we feel, not even events, just like what's going on inside.
Yeah, I totally agree. The other thing too is meditation gives us permission to take control over our thoughts and begin to live fully in the present moment. For me, the beauty of meditation or a mindfulness meditation is that it doesn't require any specific faith, which I interpret as compatible with every possible belief system.
I can't agree more. And the reason is that I was raised that meditation was bad because I could let Satan into my head.
Yeah.
And you don't know. I'm really
Yeah.
serious. If you meditated, you were opening up your mind to demons, and that isn't true. I've been meditating for a while now and never had a demon knock on the door of my head. So, yes, that's really important.
No, I totally agree. I want everyone to take a long, hard look at yourself. Look at your relationships. Look at your habits, your behaviors, the things that make you tick. Ask yourself if there is anything that needs changed. If you need help, write them down, make a list. Kim and I've talked about that before.
Yep.
And once you know what needs changed, meditation will help foster a positive transformation in those different aspects of your life. Now, this might not be noticeable right from the beginning, but over time, you will definitely see a change. So, the next question that comes up usually is, John, how did you get started with meditation?
John, how did you get started with meditation?
Well, Kim, I've been meditating for about 35 years. I first started when I was a Franciscan friar or a monk around 19 years old. I learned how to meditate from the friars, and it was a very spiritual meditation. We meditated about 3 times a day, usually in the morning, afternoon, and evening. And it started out about 15 to 30 minutes a day or 30 minutes a session. And then it increased to about 60 minutes, give or take. So when you think about it, that's 60 minutes times three. That's 3 hours of meditation a day. But, after I left the Franciscans, I noticed that there was something missing and related that feeling to meditation. I started to pick meditation up again, but this time not forcing myself to 3 hours a day, but 30 minutes a day, realizing that 30 minutes was a good set of time for me. So today, I still meditate for about 30 minutes a day. However, some days are a little bit longer and are closer to an hour. My thought is this: when people tell me that I don't have time to meditate, I simply tell them when we want to do something, we find the time to do it. For example, let's say you're single and you work a lot, plus you volunteer your time to an organization that you do on the weekends. Basically, your life is pretty busy, but you meet someone and you want to go on a date. You find the time to do that because you make the time. Meditation is a positive activity in your life. So if you are distracted by the ability to not be available, then it's not the time, and that's okay. With that said, everyone can find 10 minutes a day.
Okay. That's good for people to understand because you were talking about an hour and they might be thinking like, "Oh." So it's nice because 10 minutes sometimes is all I have.
Yeah, exactly. So, how can you get started? So, that's a huge question for a lot of people that have never meditated. The simple answer is to start. Just start. Over the years, I have realized that there are three basic tools that I have become consistent throughout every meditation of mine. And they are having a purpose, which we talked about briefly before, practicing the 3 F's, which I'm going to get into in a moment, and then consistency. So, what are the 3 F's? Well, when I prepare for any meditation, I always have this in mind. For example, it's similar to the tasks I need to complete before I leave the house: stoves off, lights off, dogs in the crate, doors locked. If I remember to do those things, I can leave the house without worry. Meditation is very similar to that. The first step is finding a comfortable seat. Usually that can be a chair with a straight back. It can also be a place on the floor or lying down. Any position is good as long as it's not going to allow you to fall asleep quickly. So for now, avoid the bed or a comfortable couch. The second F is focus on your breathing. I typically start every meditation with 3 deep breaths through my nose for a count of 4 on the inhale, holding slightly at the top, and exhaling through the stomach for a count of 6. After the 3 deep breaths, I return to normal breathing. What this does, it allows your body to begin to relax in a way where you can begin to open up your thoughts in your mind and your feelings. and you can physically feel your body relaxing. Kim, I know you have a comment, so what do you want to say?
I do. And I just want to throw in a little science part of this, which it's called respiratory sinus arrhythmia. And it's the body's way of slowing down your heart rate with your breath. And when you slow down the heart, it slows down the rest of the body. So this is why that is so effective. Your heart rate slows down, excuse me, with each exhale. So and I just thought I'd throw that in. So you were 100% right.
I think that's a really good point. And we focus on deep breathing a lot during the day, right? If somebody's driving us crazy or if we're overwhelmed, you hear people say, stop, take a deep breath. Well, what Kim just talked about was the science behind taking that deep breath. And that works with meditation as well. And it's critical that we begin to allow ourselves to just fully relax. The third F is freeing your thoughts. And this can probably be a lot for beginners because this is the most difficult thing. But the difficulty minimizes, I think, the more you meditate. At least it did for me in the beginning and it still does for me today. I always imagine a box in the back of my head that's just there for the distracting thoughts that cross my mind during a meditation. I simply acknowledge them and place them in this box and close the lid, physically closing the lid in my mind. This gives credence to the thoughts, but tells your mind it's okay to not think of those during the meditation. Don't be worried if that is your entire meditation. Sometimes it is in the beginning. Just trying to free your thoughts can be difficult for a lot of people. If your thoughts get carried away and you can't seem to focus on anything else, simply shift your focus back to your breathing. The inhale and exhale will help calm your thoughts and hush your mind.
Your trick with the box is super good. I've actually shared that with people and said, make your box really pretty or something that you would want to open up later. And it's a great, great, great trick.
You're acknowledging to yourself that you have these thoughts going through your mind, but you're also telling yourself this is not the time to stress over those thoughts. And I know that I have them, and that's okay. So I'm going to put them in the box behind my mind and allow them to sit there through the meditation. I'll get back to them, but for right now, they're in a safe spot and they're okay to stay there. And I think that goes back to giving yourself permission, giving yourself options, and allowing yourself to free your thoughts during the meditation, which is so critical.
It's also your mind. If you say, I don't want to think about this, you're thinking about not thinking about it.
Exactly.
And there was this whole experiment I read about, like trying not to think about a zebra. The more you try not to think about a zebra, the more you're thinking about a zebra. So by actually putting it away, you're not focusing on it, because whether you're thinking about it or trying not to think about it, you are focusing on it.
That's exactly right. And then when that happens, shifting your meditation back to focusing on your breathing. There's times where I have put my hand on my stomach because I was so distracted that helped me focus on the inhale and the exhale. Sometimes a physical touch is very helpful to erase those crazy thoughts that run through our mind constantly, especially if you think all the time. If you're a thinker, that might be a really good practice to get into. But like with any meditation, practicing consistency is huge. It's like anything in life. Everything is based on a strong foundation. If you have a strong foundation, then you can build a good practice. If the foundation is weak, then it takes more work to hold everything together. Sometimes letting another person know you are going to meditate will help in developing consistency. Being accountable to someone else can also be very important. And focusing on the 3 Fs, that'll help you in hushing your mind. When meditation becomes a part of your life, you will find that hushing your thoughts will become easier, allowing you to be mindful of the present moment and not focusing on what's to come or where you've been. When you practice meditation, you practice being with yourself and open to developing a sense of internal peace. Through meditation, you'll begin a journey of a powerful self motivation technique. Once you begin to feel the benefits, you will find yourself internally at peace. Because you're internally at peace, everybody will notice it, and it will become an external reality that others will start wondering, why is this person so peaceful all the time? Well, because if you're peaceful inside, then that expression is going to show to the world. And you're going to find that people are going to start noticing that there's something's changing, something's different with this person. And it's the internal peace that you're developing through meditation. It's also the way that you're responding to people. It's the way that you're handling your thoughts. It's the way that you're handling your feelings.
It's really, really been helpful for me.
Yeah, it's been helpful for me too. And I think at the end of every day, and I do this and people think I'm crazy, but at the end of every day, I always sit there and wonder, you know, how was I today? Was I in a bad mood? Did I share that bad mood with everybody else? Was I giving off negativity to people? Did I say something that maybe was off color to somebody? Did I say something that, may have offended somebody? Did I offend myself by the way that I acted during the day? And I always take a mental check, of how I did throughout the day. And then I use that mental check in the meditation the following day. And that helps me to be mindful of my actions and, again, my thoughts and my feelings. And when you consistently practice that, then what happens is you're consistently being aware of your presence in the world and what that means internally and how displayed externally.
So for people listening who are newer, who are just been focusing on their breath, how would that work? That, like you just said, that you incorporate whatever it is you want to change into your meditations. How do you do that? That seems to be a little bit more advanced because you are an advanced meditator. How would you suggest people incorporate that eventually into their meditations?
So, what I think is very helpful is I take one thought or one feeling or one action that I believe needs changed, and I focus on that throughout the meditation. By asking myself questions about the behavior, I become aware of my reactions to those behaviors. So let me think of a very practical example. Oh, this will make those that know me laugh. Let's say that you have an obsession with ice cream. The obsession is so bad that you will do anything to get some, to the point where it completely consumes you. So, what I would do is think about that obsession in my meditation and start to ask myself questions. How does it make me feel when all I can think about is ice cream? How does it make others feel when every time we are out, I want to stop for ice cream? Now, I know this is a very simple example, but the point is, by questioning the behavior and the impact it has on yourself and others, you will come to the realization if this is a behavior that needs changing. When you ask yourself these types of questions, that's when you see change and how meditation can be transformative when this example is applied to a more serious situation in life.
So if I just want to make sure I heard you correctly, that you go from in the beginning trying to harness your thoughts and to just focus. It's basically you're saying I want to do nothing but focus on my breath and to put all these extraneous thoughts into my pretty box. Then when I am skilled at that, then I can take a single thought and just focus on that thought and not allow other extraneous thoughts in, and just focus on this single thing I'm meditating on to find some clarity around it.
That's correct. And this can be little things like the ice cream. This could be very deep and life changing events like a divorce. Maybe you're suffering with job loss, maybe you have a loss in your family, any of those things that need to have focus and clarity around, those can be very powerful. A meditation can be a very powerful tool to bring clarity to those issues and why you're feeling and responding a certain way. And it might open the door to other feelings and emotions that have been locked away because of a particular event like a divorce or, like a death in the family.
Yeah. And if those feelings are too big, and they're feeling way overwhelming. A lot of times we keep things down because they're too big for us. So if they're feeling too big, we're probably going to want to get a little professional help because we don't want to keep them down, right?
That's right.
We want to get them out, but sometimes getting them out might need some guidance.
That's exactly right. And I want to make it very clear that meditation does not take the place of therapy or counseling or medication for a medical diagnosis, right? It can and often does help as an additional benefit in those scenarios. But if you are struggling with a mental health issue, then please consult with your licensed therapist and have a discussion about meditation. That's huge, Kim. And I'm so glad you brought that up because meditation doesn't take the place of therapy, but it can definitely aid in the therapeutic process.
If you need it.
Absolutely. So, Kim, what are some benefits of meditation? So, let me go through a huge list of the benefits of meditation. And if any of these ring true to someone, then jot that down on your memory and remember that when you're meditating. A lot of these are scientifically backed, and we just don't have the time to go through the science of them. But I wanted to give you a list of benefits anyway. So, what meditation can do is it can decrease anxiety, it can decrease stress, it can increase confidence, decrease anger and aggression, increase attentiveness and concentration, increase self control, increase creativity, help to resolve fears and phobias, help to break bad habits, improvements in ability to learn and retain information, improved emotional stability, and there are a ton of health benefits. It can help to reduce blood pressure, heart disease, post operation healing, alleviation of headaches and migraines. And will everyone experience these benefits? Probably not. But with a consistent practice, you might experience some of them. It all depends on where you are in your life.
Yeah, I notice a huge difference in my anxiety level. And this is going back to utilizing a practice that takes your body out of a fight or flight mode. I talk about this all the time, either in my videos or in my classes, that your body it's a single team, man. You don't affect one part of the body without affecting another. It's just how it works. So that this paced breathing, this calmness that you get from meditation is taking you out of that, and it's calming to the whole entire body, which allows you for decreased anxiety. This is a skill to help you manage, especially now. I mean, everybody is affected in one way or another by the coronavirus pandemic. And meditation and the benefits of it are are just not to the mind. It's just not a mindfulness thing. It's a whole body experience. And trust me, I feel the difference when I do or don't. I would like to make just one comment going back to the very first point that you made about your body position
Hmm.
when you go to meditate. There's someone in my house who will remain nameless. And when he goes to meditate, he always like lays back. We have a recliner sofa, or he lays down on a sofa in a back room and he turns out the lights. You want to be comfortable, but slightly uncomfortable because you don't wanna end up snoring, and that's exactly what happens. Your body gets so comfortable, you go to sleep, and so you wanna get to a point of comfort, but you don't wanna be so comfortable that you sleep.
Yeah, that's a really good point. The other thing that once you practice meditation and it becomes a part of your life, one of the things, have you ever noticed a wedding and when the bride is walking down the aisle, she takes this very hesitant walk. It's like a step and almost a pause, and then a step and almost a pause. It's almost as if she's really slowing down. If you incorporate
Well, she spent a lot of money on that wedding
she
dress, and
wants
she wants
everybody to see it.
everybody to see it. Yep.
That's true. So if you think about that meditative walk, right, or that meditative behavior, it's a very slow pattern. Sometimes if I'm feeling tired or I'm just kind of sluggish, sometimes I'll meditate by doing that slow kind of walking. It kind of sets a rhythm and I can and then I can meditate through that. A lot of your Tibetan monks will meditate through walking, and I find it very helpful, especially if I'm tired or worn out, but I still know I want to get my meditation in for the day. So I'll um I'll do a little slow walk, and it kind of reminds me of the bride walking down the aisle.
And you would make such a lovely bride, John. I would pay good money to see that.
Yeah, thanks,
Yeah.
Kim. All right,
Uh-huh.
everyone. So, those are my thoughts about meditation. And remember, make sure that you have a purpose for meditation. Practice the 3 F's, which is finding a comfortable seat, focusing on your breath, and freeing your thoughts. But the most important thing is consistency. Even if the meditation is not what you expected it to be, giving yourself permission to meditate will be the start of a positive habit in your life.
And be kind to yourself.
Absolutely.
Don't beat yourself up just because it's like, "Oh, I couldn't just be say, "Hey, I made it a minute." Like, celebrate every win. I made a minute, I made 2 minutes. I'll never forget the first time I think I meditated for 45 minutes, and I couldn't believe that that much time had gone by, a and it was just one of the best meditations. So, you get there, and you don't have to do 45 minutes.
No,
Everywhere you read, 10 minutes a day is beneficial.
absolutely. And now you have a nice little app on your Apple Watch. You have a nice little app, the Breathe app, and it'll stop you in the middle of the day and say,
Yeah,
breathe, and it'll run a 30-second clock for you. And, that's really helpful, actually.
it really is.
Um, yeah, so I've
Just
done that a couple times.
remember that the inhale, it kind of is more, exciting to the body, but the exhale is what you would say initiates the rest and relax nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system. And so with each longer exhale, you are slowing down your heart rate, I should say. Your heart rate gets slower and slower. And that's what you want to do. Don't slow it down too much, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely. And, as your heart rate begins to slow down, your mind relaxes and your thoughts slow down. All of this plays an important role in practicing meditation. In any event, it's been a great practice for me, and I know, Kim, you practice meditation, and I'm sure it's been good for you. I'm hoping with this podcast, we were able to answer questions and provide our listeners some insight into meditation. The reality is, if you are struggling with anything, the practice of meditation can help you regain control of difficult issues in your life. Finding that place near a lake or in the mountains or on the beach can give you a sense of peace. When you combine that with meditation, it can be life changing.
That was great, John. Thank you so much. We are so happy to have just excited to be doing this. Had people already commenting on our shows. That's always exciting too because it gives us some validation. In fact, I had one listener say that she could relate to our story, and or at least my story last week. And that's why we're here. We're just real people trying to give you our experience and our training and share it with you and hopefully make your lives better in the meantime.
Yes, I totally agree. One of the benefits of having a hosting site like Podbean, the more likes we get, the quicker we show up in the search results. So if you download our podcast and you like what you've heard, please subscribe to get the updates of the new episodes and hit the like button on the show. Okay, Kim, that's about all I have today. I just want to say thank you to all of our listeners, and thank you, Kim.
Thank you, John.
Have a great day, everyone. New shows are available every Saturday right here on HeartMind-ify.podbean.com or download the Podbean app. Kim and I want to thank each and every one of you for allowing us to be a small part of your life. Be kind to yourself, and remember, our hearts tell the story, but our mind is the conductor.